Hello everybody, my name is Kayla and today I'm going to tell you guys about my reading habits. So today I'm going to be doing the reading habits tag and I have a list of questions on my phone to answer, and essentially the whole point of this is just to tell you guys how I read, my preferences, my habits, and little like reading quirks and like all that stuff. So I'm essentially just going to be exposing myself, so let's go. So the first question for today's tag is going to be, do you have a certain place at home for reading? And my answer is yes and no. I have some preferred spots in my house that I like to read, aka like my bed. I have a reading chair upstairs. Like I have places where I frequently read, but do I have like a specific set space? Not really. The second question is bookmark or random piece of paper? Neither. So I like to dog ear my personal books. Please don't hate me. I dog ear them, and usually I read a lot on my Kindle, so you just like tag it, so I don't really even need bookmarks. But if I'm reading a book borrowed from the library or from someone else or school or whatever, I will use a bookmark. Usually it's just a random piece of paper unless they provide a bookmark, because I don't own a bunch of bookmarks, which is very surprising. The third question is, can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? So I actually don't have to like read a set amount of pages. Like sometimes if I read, I'll want to get through a chapter, or if I'm rereading a book, I know I want to get to like a certain point and like things like that. But when I'm normally reading, I really don't pay attention to that stuff. I don't like make myself finish a chapter. It's just kind of, I read whenever I have time. Whatever time I have during my day, I usually am reading, so I don't always have the luxury of like being like, okay, I have to finish this because, you know, I have to go somewhere. So I've learned over the years not to be as picky about that, if that makes sense. And personally, it doesn't bother me if I just stop in the middle of a page. Usually if I open my book up, I'll just reread that page and I'll be fine. The fourth question is, do you eat or drink while reading? No. So like at work, if I'm eating supper, I'll like read on my Kindle sometimes, but normally I don't really eat or drink when I read. When I eat meals, I don't usually like to read just because I can't focus as well. And I obviously want to remember what I'm reading. And honestly, I was kind of scarred as a child. You know, like in school, they're like, you cannot eat with like the borrowed books. I never really eat or drink when I read. The fifth question is multitasking, music or TV while reading. So sometimes I'll read if there's like a show on, if I'm watching it with my family, or if there's music playing in the background, it's fine. Personally, when I'm reading in my own space, I don't really have any of that. I know a lot of people like create playlists to listen to while you read, which I think is a really cool idea, but for myself, it just takes away from the book. And honestly, I end up not focusing very well if I have something else on because my attention is drawn there. And so if I'm reading, I like to just try to read. The sixth question is one book at a time or several at once. It kind of depends on the time of the year and how much free time I have. Sometimes I'll just stick to one book and read start to finish and then pick up another one. But more often than not, I usually am reading 2 or 3 books at the same time, because I am very much a mood reader. If I'm not enjoying a book in the moment, if it's not giving me what I want, I will move on to a different book and come back to it an hour later, a day later. I tend to read multiple books at once, which is kind of funny because like for most of my life, I never did that, but now I do that all the time. Reading at home or everywhere. I definitely read a lot at home just because I am at home a lot because of like quarantine and everything that happened this past like spring and winter. But normally I take a book with me literally wherever I go. If I go out shopping with my friends, there will be a book shoved into my satchel. I bring books with me everywhere. I read at home a lot, but I also bring books with me everywhere, so I would say both. I read at home and everywhere. Question number 8 is reading out loud or silently in your head, and definitely silently in my head. I don't normally read out loud, or like my mouth doesn't really move when I read, and so I definitely just read in my head. Number 9, do you read ahead or even skip pages? Yes, to both. I skip ahead all the time. Sometimes I will read the end of the book just to find out if the couple I like, if the OTP I like gets together. I skip pages all the time and read ahead all the time. Please don't hate me. Number 10, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I like to keep my books in as good as condition as possible, but the more you read, the more worn the book gets. So I understand that sometimes the spine will break, and I don't really hold myself up to like a standard of keeping all my books like perfectly neat and organized because I bring them everywhere with me. I know that the spines are probably gonna break. And honestly, I don't really see the spine breaking and the book just looking more red. Does that make any sense as like a bad thing? And 11, do you write in your books? Yes. I don't write in all of my books, but I write in a lot of my favorite books or books that I've reread a lot. For instance, I have a specific copy of A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which is my favorite book, that I have highlighted, I have written in, and I have marked everywhere, and it's very easy to see when you flip through it that I love it so much. To me, I highlight passages that mean a lot to me, or if when I'm reading it, if I come across a page that really impacts me, I'm gonna write in it. And honestly, I love that. I love writing in my personal books. I don't write in books that are not my own or books that I'm borrowing because that's taboo. Even I wouldn't do that, and I dog ear my books. So, does that answer that question? I think it does. Alright everybody, so that was today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to like and subscribe down below and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I upload a video so you don't miss out. I have all my social media platforms and usernames in the description below, so you can go check those out if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. That would be great. And comment down below any answers to these questions that you want to do. Tell me about your reading habits. I'm very interested to see what you guys say. So I think that's everything. So be amazing people, have a fabulous day, and read lots of great books. Did I say fabulous or fabulous?